Yeah, double a limb. I can't wait. But right now, Betis is doing a pretty good job at holding back this G2 team. It's still a 3 versus 3. Nukkye is the only one on low health, doesn't have the heal, just used it on one of his teammates, but doesn't even really need to. He's gonna take these fights, takes out XeoN and kyrrz? I can't make that rolling noise.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty normal. Some sounds in English are pretty tricky for me as well. It's a pretty standard attack by G2, you know, using that Sage wall, breaking mid, taking control, winning B side. And
they shut down this early aggression coming out of BTS, pushing through onto mid. And it seems that G2, more than anything, they've got better guns here, but they are keen for a fight a lot of the time. We saw it in the last round with... This one didn't have much to say because it was wild. Maybe we'll see a bit more of those kind of moves from G2. But Keloqz has been a grace to watch. And he even plays off of the wallbang setup from Koldamenta.
Yeah, they're looking for a pretty aggressive and fast play on this B side.
That's a nice little setup play. I love that. The Sky Flash coming through, AvovA even being able to push off of that. But Navarro has found a way in, trying to isolate these duels, but Keloqz has been patient. Not your typical run-of-the-mill duelist that wants to constantly find fights. He's actually breaking them down bit by bit, and he clutches out nicely everything that you'll want from a young Jet player. It's fun to try and say things with the Spanish flick, I suppose you could call it. I'm just so used to butchering it. We said that yesterday with Zesh as well, but this G2 really not giving any room for Betis to come in and actually surprise. It's even more terrifying as well because I know a good portion of your audience is Spanish, so I feel like kyrrz is going to be able to... It was a bit unnecessary, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, it's surprising, but it's also very risky.
Rez is there at least to bring it back, but the Trailblazer is going to spot that information. Quite rightly. I think one of the... There was a HLTV list of top 20 players. I think Nukkye would have been on it.
Yeah.
A bit of a late entry, I suppose, considering Heretics were just not a household name until they won First Strike.
Oh. We didn't even see. Maybe he didn't even need to scope. It was a really quick one. So let's see if kyrrz can save this one.
Seek has been used. I like it because it just means that Betis don't have...
Nukkye here with a boost anytime soon. Here it comes.
There's another guiding light available though for the Sky if they want to fight off, but kyrrz just wanted to play on that angle, just gets mowed down from bullets through all of these smokes, and everybody from Betis, nobody could even really see a play from G2. Never mind get a kill. Absolutely smothered on that A site. Now BROMAS is going to try and keep an eye onto Rafters, checking that corner, but the L drone is going to make him back up a little bit more. Now AvovA all stuck, isolated with that wall down, is going to protect Tree, and it's only those two early players that G2 lost before they turn it around in a 3 versus 5, I think.
Yeah, and they were waiting for something different after this timeout that Betis wanted for themselves. The aggression and the micro with the pretty standard with that Sage wall. Jesus. It's
Mixwell's utility has been so on point.
He's playing so much for the team. It's crazy to see him play like this. It really shows you that he's a great player whatsoever. Even if he was playing, you know, for himself when you play Jet. And now with this 4 different agents, pretty easy round. He didn't check up. Timing, not good for him. I was saying, kyrrz was doing good on the operator. It's just not enough. Jeez.
Usually when you're 8-0 down as well, some of these mistakes are going to go through. And Nukkye playing almost through the Hunter's Fury, finding gaps. And really, it's no more than 2 players that G2 are losing at this point. They're 9-0 up and they're doing it so decisively.
It's great how Nukkye has all those lineups and those walls with Sage. Is that, you know, it's Koldamenta. He brings so much to the team. He's always studying, always bringing in new lineups, new setups, and it's just crazy.
The team captain and IGL that it feels that G2 have been wishing for. I think one of the common complaints very early on for G2 is who's IGLing, who's the captain, who's meant to be doing the calls. It's kind of weird, Keloqz trying to be the tip of the spear whilst with the operator in hand. Going to be able to see it through, and Nukkye is actually the first to go down. XeoN doubles his kill count, but it's a key one. And now Betis with the operator on this corner. Keloqz doesn't like to use that dash until he needs to, and unfortunately it's going to meet too much now. 3 versus 3 now. Now Operator and Bladestorm now coming in on Betis' Jet side. AvovA reset as Mixwell's found XeoN smoked off. Gonna check it and peek it. This would be a big mistake having a lockdown and getting caught out on this angle. The peek comes through, it's isolated. AvovA should not be winning this clutch, and he doesn't, luckily. Cruz was there to get the first round on the board for Betis, but it still could have gone awkwardly. I think a bit of a misplay from the Killjoy, but I mean, you've got one more round left. You might be able to make it 2. AvovA. The lockdown being used from the defender side, and Keloqz has to try and now break it. Bit of an awkward thing, but I guess if you're going down with a ship, you might as well try and plant the lockdown to see if something can happen there. And now the Santa's Fury is more to try and stall and reset everything. And Cruz could have caught the spike there, most importantly, but he loses out that duel onto Mixwell. Betis have a weird chokehold on this B site.
Yeah, and they were Keloqz was waiting for AvovA and his TP, and they were probably not thinking that Mixwell was left out, and he had the spike on him. It doesn't really matter because they just took full position in, and they just have to.
He certainly made noise towards B. Mixwell and AvovA might be able to pinch in from market. Keloqz, Koldamenta holding in on the back of the boathouse. They both get a kill, but they both go down in the process. And now we're 2 versus 3 for G2. AvovA a bit late to the party. Mixwell isn't afraid to actually try and go in for a fight alone. But BROMAS is going to win that, gets the information, gets the frag. AvovA taking in the fights from 2 different positions. It's a nice bait, I suppose, for XeoN to keep that tension towards B main, but BROMAS is there to clear up to get a 3rd.
Still can take something out of this round, even if it's some exit frags. See, we see the ping in. It's time to come in. But yeah, I think Betis is also thinking of the fact that they don't have a sentinel taking care of B side, so that makes it easier for them to attack.
Onto where these players are, and Koldamenta with the Ares. We saw this, a great chance in the first day, and that sort of streak with that gun continues. Now up to BROMAS. They can at least afford still, but it does put G2 onto match point. And it's been a dominant showing on their map pick so far.
Yeah, exactly. This bonus round was not good enough for Betis. G2 pretty smart. Instead of...
Be an interesting match that we might see in the main event starting next week. Is able to try and get some damage in for the top of rafters. It's a very close hold. Look at where the spike is planted. The Eldron is going to get some information, but the Hunter's Fury used on the attack takes out Koldamenta just as he was coming back from using that utility, but he's holding on.
Yeah, Mixwell took a step in, and maybe not waiting for the rest of the team. Is that they're going on the point right now, and 1 by 1 with all those smokes falling in. They just coast it here.
That was exactly what you want to see.
It's just so good. It's just so nice watching it. And should come pretty soon. Still has Navarro still has a Smoley to clean maybe lamps. Yeah.
He's put it in the smoke, and Koldamenta tries to hide from the recon dot. Is forced to middle of this sky smoke, but still wins that duel against Navarro. Jumping out with the right click of the classic was only going to get you so far. And Nukkye now holding off this plant. The defuse was attempted, at least from XeoN. It's only doing some better than some of the other teams. Wasn't even an expectation, I don't think, for G2 to qualify.
That is great.
Do it this handsomely is nice. As Mixwell, G2 making use of the bigger guns. Benefiting off this stim pack. He's looking for a fight. He might not even need the stim pack to win it, but he catches 1 on this double peak. Could have potentially got both, but at least the Sky with a better weapon on the Vandal brings it to a 4 versus 4. So rotate comes in for A.
Zenero comes from CS. He has a long way back in Esports. Nice. kyrrz not only gets 2 kills, he also gets the spike on the floor in showers. And now AvovA and Koldamenta need to decide whether they're gonna look for the flag. They should. They retrieve the spike and try something from there.
There's no chance for a cute strategy here.
Gun here.
15 seconds left. They need to just win these close-up duels. They know that Navarro could be playing on that angle, and the Molotov's going to force it out.
Nice.
Perfectly placed.
Yeah. They were rotating, but they came back to A. They're not buying this B-side just yet. But yeah, it's got to be B-side.
The ultra strike. I like that play from the Sky, though. It instantly, preemptively strikes onto this G2 team that are heading in onto the B site. Luckily, Koldamenta is there to break open. It's a nice opening to make sure that the Sky's not going to be part of the server for now. Now, Koldamenta wanting to keep an eye towards the defender's spawn. Elbow controller is going to be harassed by G2. BROMAS doesn't have a recon dart, just a shock dart, and is down to 60 HP. Can't win that duel against AvovA. He was very keen to take that space, even more keener to hold it. It's a nice little pull-through play for Betis, or at least it was a nice attempt. Have the keys to open this, but does require buying and getting through this Viper's Pit. Close quarters battle with Mixwell is on the cards. Very easy to pronounce his name. Keloqz has been pretty radio silent on this Sky, at least for the impact of these fights that he's taken, and he has quite a lot to do. The spike has been planted. You'll notice that Koldamenta is over in A main and gets killed through the smoke from Keith. Now Keloqz breaking these fights one by one. The defuse was already halfway there, so it would have been more of a challenge. He tried to stall. He's looking a lot better on this map.
Looks like they are.
XeoN has been much better player on this bind map. He's still playing an elbow, and G2 have still managed to find a way to make this close. It's a 2v2 on the site, at least, and Navarro, they're trying to protect onto Keloqz, who has it all to do. Would have been a nice multi-kill start, at least if he could find that fight onto Navarro, but it's all body shots. He goes down to low health. The third defuse for BTS in the third round to bring us even.
That was scary, because if he would have gotten that first one, he would have had time
to get some kills through the toxic screen.
He has revealed his position, though. Oh.
Catching on to BROMAS, though. It's a nice trade for the teammate, but unfortunately, the spike's in an awkward position. You got Navarro that's actually pulled all the way through B, through market. He's playing off of where the spike's been dropped to Mixwell. He's not in a safe position. He's going to try and go through the...
Scary. That is really scary. Because if they can adapt to any team, they can do anything. They can win anything and anyone.
Another defuse has to come in for Betis. And AvovA actually picking up a gun on the ground, wins the duel against BROMAS. Now elbow is going to be really difficult for XeoN to take, but that's a nice little peek to get that information. To get the kill following. There's a guiding light that's going to push more into elbow, but AvovA wins that fight easily. Smokes himself off, they're playing for time. Bigger guns are not available for Koldamenta. He's holding onto B lobby with the Sheriff because the orbital strike, as soon as that spike was even sniffed on, the orbital strike was there to delay it a little bit more. There's not much utility left to work with. XeoN does go down. AvovA, the triple kill is there. And an excellent round for him and a thrifty for G2. Keeping them in it so far.
Yeah, and Koldamenta decides to die because he didn't have enough time. Thought better about taking that peek. If he would have waited until they made the next move, maybe we would have seen a different result. It's a 5v3.
30 seconds left.
Navarro was put in that position. It was a bit of a make-up break. Nukkye through hooker has been able to grab onto this B site. They're very good at holding onto it, digging their claws and heels in. And even with XeoN over on A, he's under a bit more stress. That Viper's Pit not going to be used for all that much.
The options were pretty high, but they were there, and they were probably moving, or at least checking their backs if they're not going into the Viper's Pit. That was a mistake, but at least they're saving the guns this time. They're saving an operator for kyrrz. As we said, he's been doing...
I can't wait.
You may not know everything, like you may not learn how to speak it, obviously, but you know how to read.
At least I'm trying. That's the main thing.
Yeah, of course. Oh, take it back to the operator.
They don't want it in this game anymore. Navarro, though, as the judge, is low health. And one thing that G2 have been doing super successfully is...
It's just crazy. With the recon, and then you get the flash, and then you can pop flash with Sky. If you master that, the game is yours.
Spike planted.
XeoN 1 versus 5, no pressure at all. First duel is found, the first duel is lost. Vibes actually used on A main, and this puts a lot of pressure onto Lamps.
Yeah, and kyrrz used all of his blades trying to double dash up and get a kill, but he didn't make it. Oh, XeoN gets a kill, and he also gets the spike down. The Seekers are coming out for him. See if you're fast enough. Oh, it's literally what you said. If you're coming for me on long, I'll be pushing from short.
It's actually Keloqz was able to slip in by, and that's the Seekers not being used, I don't think. Oh no, it was maybe thrown out towards the end amidst all of the chaos. Navarro holding onto the site has lost track of where Nukkye's playing from, and he's actually a lot deeper than he maybe have expected him to be.
Yeah,
Nukkye,
now
30 seconds left.
he's got 30 seconds left.
You gotta play this one.
Enemy remaining.
Wow.
Or you could just do that, the showstopper right at the end. It doesn't catch on to the kill. Prisionero still alive in this second. The spike still hasn't gone down. He goes up into the sky.
The showstopper and the grenade, so.
Pistols again. XeoN again. Goes for the wider peak, hoping to find a closer opponent on the left-hand side, but Koldamenta is holding his ground. AvovA gets 2 before he's traded, and a couple more added to Koldamenta's tally, so BROMAS, even before he can really set himself up for the action, had the lineups ready for the Sova, and before they hit the ground, the rest of his team is dead.
Yeah, this tough position for BROMAS. Spike's not his, and...
Might not be expected. Sky has utility in hand. You don't want to use the Trailblazer because that's going to be an easy push from AvovA, but it depends on how quickly they can get stunned. Keloqz coming through to teleport. It just seems to take everybody by surprise. AvovA is there, holding close. That showers control. And 3 members of Betis alive. All seem to be coming through one direction. Let's see how well Mixwell can hold it off.
It's amazing. It's literally amazing how you say players not playing together for this long, but having things so prepared as this one. As I know this guy's here. If she flashes me, I'm out. Push with me, and it just, as you said, it just catches you by surprise.
Betis 4-10 down. Full buys here. Bonus round coming in with Spectres and those kind of guns for G2. Keloqz gets 1 with the weaker weaponry. Keep does a good job to try and actually clear it out.
All the positioning and lamps do not have the vision, but they will have it soon.
AvovA just pushes out. XeoN has been really good on the sky. He's going to continue to be Prisionero. Adds a few more to his tally. The second is there for the sky.
Smokes are going to fall any moment. Oh, Mixwell has all the info that they need. The rotations are coming. And all the Venoms to prevent them from getting in the point. Oh, God.
Navarro using the orbital strike to his own advantage there, really. It comes from the defended side of G2. Doesn't stop the spike dropping. The recon down from Koldamenta has always been good to find some information. Navarro trying to make sure that these G2 players are pulling in together. Wants to take those fights their own, but Koldamenta, it doesn't even matter, really. Only goes down to 45 HP and 11th round for them. Betis, seeing as they've won that last round, they might be okay for this one too coming up. Still holding on to showers. Nukkye has a nice little angle here, but that's a really nice shot from Prisionero. That is not an angle that you expect to find a player.
Oh, gosh. AvovA was completely called out by that recon arrow. Koldamenta finds kyrrz, but this is still a 4v2 situation. Viper Spit is also on the way of this drone, trying to get any info of where the players are standing. Oh, still Koldamenta's getting all the shots today, almost all of them.
Mechanically, he's there with the rest of G2, but...
I would like to have Mixwell playing operator with Viper.
That'd be interesting. I mean, you're not going to see it really from Keloqz. Well, Nukkye doesn't usually like to do it. XeoN knows that there's people close fighting in the smokes. AvovA trying to go for the koi play again. Actually does take a good portion of damage, but still finds XeoN. He really has the sky's number today. But BROMAS is clearing up these sheriffs. Numbers advantage still there for Betis. They have the better guns. They have the spike down. But I still think G2 can do a number here.
Yeah, they can. They use those Seekers. Also the flashes. Prisionero finds the second one.
Enemy remaining.
Oh my god. If he turns right, he can get maybe both of them. At least check the corner.
Crazy.
Keloqz is the last alive. It was just holding out. And even on a thrifty round like this, but to admit, it's been a spectacle to watch this G2 team. Betis thought they had that all under control, breaking through with the Seekers, having a full buy against G2's Eco. XeoN was ready to go there again, and potential, well, it is match point for G2, potential last round. The money for Betis isn't good. You just sort of see the sheriffs with fires through there. Keith coming in close. Nukkye shuts down that fight. A Hunter's Fury coming out on the attack, and it only kills Prisionero. What a drastic way to go out. Mixwell with 2 with a snake bite. And just like that, G2 qualify for the closed path tournament. They'll be playing Vitality